You're watching the Coaches Roundtable on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. From the Butler Cubs Athletic Association, this is the Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Going in the spotlight, guys, championship week. So many championships in so many different sports. Let's start with girls soccer 4A WPIAL championship. North Allegheny 2, Butler 1 in double overtime. North Allegheny goals Sarah Shupansky, and then a winning goal by Lucia Wells. The Butler goal by Sam Miller. Butler section champs, they finished 12-2. Next up for North Allegheny, 11-2, the PIAA playoffs. In 3A, Mars 1, Plum nothing, the second straight title for the Lady Planets. A winning goal by senior Aaron Rogers. How about this? Her first goal of the year.
How about that?
What a thrill for her. Mars now, how about this run? It's one of the more remarkable runs ever around here. 40-0-1 the last 2 years. Mars now 17-0. They take on District 10 champ Warren.
Yeah, it's amazing that soccer is taking off there.
Tremendously.
Crazy.
The girls and the boys. And the 2A championship, North Catholic 1, Avonworth nothing. The winning goal by Jaden Sharpless, the second straight title for the Trojanettes. Next up for North Catholic, 13-2-1. They take on District 9 champion Clearfield. District 9 2A title. Just talking about Clearfield 5 and Karn City 4. McKenna Martin and Emma Daly, 2 goals each for the Lady Gremlins. Karn City finishes 9-3. District 10 girls 2A semifinals. Slippery Rock High School 8, Franklin nothing. Hannah Burton and Isabella Willison, 2 goals each. And then in the district championship, they ran on to an old nemesis, Villa Maria. Beat them 3-0. What a year, though, for the Lady Rockets. They finished 14-2.
Yeah, great season for those ladies. Good athletics at Slippery Rock, especially on the women's side.
Yeah, their basketball, their track,
Yes.
and
Good
volleyball too. Hey, in boys soccer now, District 9 2A title game, Karn City 1, Punxsutawney nothing. This is the 6th district title for Karn City. Next up for Karn City, 12-1-1. They take on Bedford. Let me say this about several of their players pulling double duty. They've won 2 District 9 championships the last 2 weeks in football and soccer. Caden Shear, Matt Griffiths, and Owen Colwell, they also play football.
Yeah, small schools.
Thank those coaches.
Yes. Coaches, parents, anybody who gives. Because the parents are taking 2 different practices. Their coach, that's a big thing.
Everyone being unselfish.
Yes,
let's share these players. And, the soccer coach not saying, I'm worried you're going to get hurt in football. The football coach saying, I'm worried you're going to get tired out in soccer. They're kids. They want to play. Let them play. And in boys, WPIL 4A, Seneca Valley 4, Peters Township 3 in 2 overtimes. The Raiders were down 3-1 in this game. Sophomore Bo Lazuski, he had a hat trick, an assist, and the winning goal. It's the second title in the last 3 years for the Raiders. Next up for Seneca Valley, 13-2-1, the PIAA playoffs against State College. Boys 3A, Mars 2, Franklin Regional 1 in overtime. Goals by Tyler Nimberg, and the winner, he's done this all year long. He's been a stalwart for the Planets, Dane Beller with the winning goal. Next up for Mars, 18-0, the PIAA versus Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, nice year right there. I mean, you know what? Of all the things you read that amazed me the most, the Butler girls don't move on being runner-up in the Whitfield.
Because they
cut it
this year because of the COVID. Only district champs are moving on. That's why everything will be done by. Yeah, they had a tremendous year. Section champs.
It's so much harder in the Whitfield.
Yes.
Yeah, normally it plays itself out because they get a rematch because they win a game or two and play again.
And the fact they split with NA
Absolutely.
this year, that makes it tough. Infield hockey, 3A semis, Pine Richland 8, Mount Lebanon nothing. Junior Riley Rollerton, she had a hat trick. She is a Louisville commit. And senior Ella Rottinghouse, she is a Boston University commit. In the WPL championship game, Pine Richland 3, Peters Township nothing. Back-to-back titles for the Rams. Goals by Riley Kirby, Fiona Cortina, and Riley Wollerton. It's a third WPIL title in the last 4 years for the Rams. Next up for Pine Richland, 13-0. They take on the winner of District 3. And in tennis, PIAA individual finals, Knox Senior, four-time WPL winner Laura Greb. She took third place finish. She gets a bronze. And the Knox doubles team, Brooke and Ellie Bauer, they place second. They pick up a silver. What a year for Knox tennis. WPIL champs, state champs. Greb, WPL singles champ, and the Bauer sisters were WPIL champs.
Yeah, as I'm involved in tennis, it takes a lot of hard work to do that. I'm telling you, it's a lot of
Tremendous
time.
season.
Yes.
PIAA cross country, North Allegheny boys and girls, they win their second state title in the last 3 years. Butler's C.J. Singleton, he finished 6th. And then girls 3A, Meredith Price of Pine Richland was 10th. Girls volleyball, WPIL 4A championship. Am I saying North Allegheny a lot today?
Yes, you know you always do.
North Allegheny 3, Shaler won the third title in the last 4 years for the Lady Tigers. Paige Miller and Mia Tooman, 18 kills each. Remember her Tooman's brother, he's at Penn State.
Oh, yeah, he was terrific, too.
And how about this? She tells you how good they are. Notre Dame recruit, setter Paige Morningstar, she set the table for them. How many times we've heard that name in the last few years? Her sister's somewhere down south playing.
She's how about that? The same family names. That's interesting.
You know,
And the father played where? Pitt.
Yes.
You get spoiled. That the coaches don't realize there are coaches
The
that
athletes.
coach 30 years and don't have two D1. That Pine team, two on the same team.
Yeah.
Louisville and Boston. There are coaches that have coached their entire life and
You're
not
right.
had one.
You struggle. I can name some of the coaches in different sports. They coached 30, 40 years, never had that elite talent, never won a championship, but yet they were outstanding coaches.
No doubt. There's a million of them.
Absolutely.
There's a million of them never get mentioned.
Yes. Next for NA, 17-0. They head into the state playoffs. 2A girls volleyball, North Catholic 3, Elwood City 1, the second straight title for the Trojanettes. For North Catholic, Ellison Fetzko, 18 kills, Riley Wanda, 13 kills, and Elizabeth Mitchell, 6 aces. Next for North Catholic, 17-0. They take on the winner of Red Bank Valley and Chestnut Ridge. Elwood City, a great year. They finished 16-1, their best season ever.
Yeah, I think that's why I want to highlight them, Andy, because you just made a point that North Allegheny wins all this, North Catholic.
Again.
You don't hear Elwood City, and that's why I want
nice.
to give them the tribute to Coach Jenna Vitruti and her dad, Joe. What a year they had. They were 14-0 in the league. Their seniors, led by Brianna Reisinger, Danielle McCowan, and Maria Ionelli, the leaders of that crew. I watched them play with Angelina Vitruti, Angelina Nardone, Kelly Barnett, and Jenna Vedica, and young freshman named Claire Noble. The three seniors, Eddie wanted me to know about college. All three have been offered. They haven't decided what they're going to do. It looks like Brianne Reisinger is going to continue on for sure and play. But what a year they had. And Danielle McCown was top 5 last year, so I'm figuring they haven't come out with that yet, the top 5 players. But a couple of those kids will be there.
And once again, 16-1, one loss the last game, and you can't go into the state playoffs. It's a tough year.
Yeah, and the coach recruiting said something really interesting. She said that this builds the program where some of these other North Alleghenies of the world, that's what she wants to do. And, when you win like that, other young girls want to play.
They get interested.
So that's congratulations.
Well, our congratulations to all the schools in our areas
Yes.
and winning their championships. High school football playoffs, rushing. Josh Huff of Beaver Falls, the Syracuse recruit, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averages 18 yards a carry. He's going to Syracuse. I watched Syracuse play. They don't have a running back as good as him. Forget about linebacker. I'm putting him in the backfield.
Yeah.
He's too good.
I don't think he's going to play
6'2",
there. I don't think he's going to play running back. I'll be
You
surprised.
think he wants to play linebacker?
I think he's going to. I think he's going to end up being tight end. He's so big, and
I've watched them run
I
on
think
TV, Albert. How do they not want to play him
I've
on
seen him
running
live.
back?
Though. He's playing against guys that are so little to get that can't tackle him.
Dudes
You know, that's why. He's like.
You don't think he could be a running back at that level?
I don't. I
You
don't.
don't?
I
Okay.
watch him run, and I don't think he has.
How about
I
the
don't-
Clemson
I don't
dude?
think he has the gear.
Don't forget who
Yeah.
he's playing against. That dude from Clemson Saturday night's 18 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
Hey,
but I'm not taking this saying he's
No,
not
he's
great.
terrific.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying
I'm saying I'd give him a look.
his body build is so big. He's going to be. It's hard for me to believe a running
He's gonna
back
be a 250 pounder.
260 pounds.
Yeah.
I still want to know, has Pitt tried to recruit him? Could we find that out?
Okay, I can find
just
that
want to
out.
know.
I know.
There's some players that are getting away, like him and Derek Davis, and even the next kid here I'm going to mention, Shalik Livingston. He always has 100 yards. He's 5'11", 220. Why aren't these guys being recruited?
I'll ask Coach Nardone. He graduated from Elwood. I know the family really well. I can get a hold and find out
for
about
us.
it recruited.
Rashawn Reed of Rochester, 106 yards. Colin Bender of Wilmington, 5 carries, 89 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I
You
saw
said he
that
got
game. I
tremendous
happened to
speed.
watch the game. It was pretty fast. Yeah, they obviously, you know what kind of team they have. I can't wait till they play Beaver Falls. I hope neither one of them slips up. And you just mentioned the reason I
We
say
should
this-
do that game on
Yeah,
TV.
Chestnut, it's at Wilmington this week, Chestnut Ridge. They're in another sport also. Talk about a tiny school doing well.
Seems like there's always one, like you
They're
said,
always
George, up
like
there
that.
It's the class.
that do that.
Yep, you're right.
Darren Miller, Wilmington, 10 carries, 85 yards, and Luke Gehring of Karn City, 11 carries, 59 yards, and 2 touchdowns passing. Boy, this kid's been terrific. He has to be closing in on 3,000 yards in an abbreviated season. Cole Spencer, Pine Ridge, 338 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and he ran for 2 more. Greg Phillips of North Allegheny, 196. Eric Boer of Karn City, 124. And Kalen Bender of Wilmington, 111 yards and a touchdown. He had 200 total yards and 4 TDs.
Yeah, it was quite a night for him. Karn City played him tough for over a half.
Yes. Yeah.
That's his best game of his career.
Is that right?
Yes,
Is that the best one?
because he was able to open up and throw the ball a little bit. Most times the quarterback doesn't throw a lot at Wilmington.
And receiving, Eli Hokum of Pine Ridge, 8 for 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. In his last 3 games, he's hauled in 8 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I'm going to call Mike White out on this one. Mike White somehow picked Gateway to win that, and I'm thinking, how
Over
could
Pine.
anybody?
Over Pine.
Yeah,
Who's ranked Pine first?
But I'm
We
saying
have.
it was, but
Right.
Pines killed everybody.
Right.
Forever.
You know, and Gateway was hurt. You know, like COVID.
No.
was
Yeah.
Pine Ridge is the class of that. I'll be shocked
Weapons
if they
at
don't win
every
the
place.
finals the same way.
He
Yes.
took names in 6A.
Exactly. Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
Ethan Susan of Wilmington, 2 for 105 yards. And they shut him down running, but he picked up the receiving game. Mason Kress of North Allegheny, 6 for 113 yards. Caden Shear of Karn City, 3 for 63. Pull net double duty. Dwayne Taylor of North Allegheny, 4 for 44. In our power rankings in 6A, Central Catholic vaults to number 1 with their championship win over North Allegheny. North Allegheny jumped out 21-3. I thought they were going to breeze to a championship. And behind the running of Eddie Tillman, who rushed for 140-some yards, Central Catholic came roaring back. 35-3, they outscored the Tigers. It's their 5th championship in the last 8 years. Something I didn't know, NA hasn't won a title since 2012. Those other titles in there were won by Pine Richland before they stepped down to 5A.
Yeah, as great as North Allegheny is, Pine Richland and Central Catholic have been the stars of that league.
I mean, you're so
They've been-
surprised. If you'd have told me
No,
that,
we wouldn't have known that.
8 years, I didn't know that.
Central Catholic's defense also had 2 interceptions that turned the whole game around. There's no question about
And
it.
that kid had a 4th and 1 that had no hole, and he made it on his own on the goal line.
Yeah, and-
That kid, he had no block.
Yep, Tillman
Right.
did do that. Yep.
And what's amazing, they start a freshman at middle linebacker, Central Catholic.
And he doesn't look like a freshman.
6'3",
So he doesn't look
205.
like a freshman.
Amazing. They're followed by Mount Lebanon, Seneca Valley, and Cannon McMillan. And in 5A, Pine Richland at the top in Peters Township. They'll play for the championship this Saturday at North Allegheny. Gateway got knocked off by Peters Township. They're 3rd. Penn Trafford and Woodland Hills. And Derek Davis at Gateway, he is committed to LSU, as we said before. In 4A, it'll be Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was down to Plum 17-7, but came back to win that 20-17, followed by Bell Vernon and McKeesport. So, guys, let me ask you, the winner, Pine Richland, Peters Township, will be?
Pine Richland.
Pine Richland. The winner of Aliquippa, TJ?
I'll equip him.
I have Thomas Jefferson just because everybody's picking Aliquippa. That's the only reason. Aliquippa is going to find somebody that believes they're going to win as much as them. Like no one believes they're. Quip's going to every game
big as
thinking,
them,
I'm
you know.
I'm going to pull for the Quips because
Oh,
they
pull for
forced
the
them.
Quips.
They should be 1A or
Oh.
4A. They have how many boys between 9
no.
and 12? What, 90?
Yes,
Fewer than 90 if they're A.
yes.
Oh.
Eddie, pulling and picking. I'm pulling for the Quips so badly,
Yeah.
making them move up 4A.
I know them, having played against them, coached against them, and as we said before, if you said to them, "You're opening up next year at Central Catholic,"
Okay.
they'd say, "Where?
Exactly.
Where are we playing? Let's
Exactly.
go." In 3A, it's Central Valley followed by Elizabeth Forward. Here's a shocker: Elizabeth Forward. Not that they beat North Catholic, but shut them out 17-0 was a surprise to me over the weekend.
Yeah, and Elizabeth Ford will be hoping that North Catholic beat them because
Yeah.
the score of this next game could be
Here's
could be 65.
Now there's a game you'd want to see. They used to play like Central and Valley and Eloquent.
Yes.
Would be a game. North Catholic drops to third, followed by Keystone Oaks and East Allegheny. And in 2A, Wilmington at the top. They had the 42-14 win over Karn City. Karn City stayed in there, did some good
Absolutely.
things, and gave
They
them a battle.
did. They gave him a nice game. And this Chestnut Ridge has the same quarterback that 2 years ago gave them fits.
How about this? A follow up, Eddie, as you brought up, Beaver Falls is in the championship. Elk was in the championship. Central Valley's in it. They were all in the same league last year.
Isn't
They
that
all got
something?
moved every which way.
Think about that. No wonder you want
Amazing.
them out of your league.
Right. Number 2 is Beaver Falls 8-0, and Stowe Rocks in at number 3 at 8-1. Beaver Falls and Stowe Rocks will play for the 2A championship. Apollo Ridge number 4, Sarah Catholic 5-1. You know, both those teams, one loss. Stowe Rocks 8-1, but only one of them is going to advance. And the winner in this game will be
Beaver Falls.
Beaver Falls. And finally, in 1A, it's Clairton at the top, followed by Jeanette, Rochester, Shenango, and California. Clairton and Jeanette will play in the championship. Clairton with that tremendous running back, Deontay Sanders, rushed for 200 yards last week. The week before, he rushed for 400 yards. 400 yards.
I think they played Jeanette once this year, lost 1 by 6. So it looks
Yeah, they
looks
won like
it-
25-19.
Looks like it's going to be a good championship game.
Jeanette has a freshman quarterback, Brad Birch. He threw 3 touchdown passes
Freshman,
last
think
week
of that.
to his brother, Brett Birch, who's going to Central Michigan.
That's great.
He's 14 years old. He's thrown for 28 touchdown passes in 9 games this year.
Now that is a kid in 5th grade that had to say,
He's
hey,
different. Look at that guy.
yeah.
They point at him and go, look, he's only in 5th grade. What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, by
See-
next year.
He had to take his birth certificate every time he had a game in
He
Michigan.
did.
And he's 6 foot 180 right now. He
Oh,
may grow in. They're going to start looking at him now
for sure.
next
Oh,
next
for
year.
sure.
Our stories of the week: the NFL, the Steelers 24, Dallas 18. We all thought the Steelers would cover with the 14.5. Roethlisberger 29 of 42, 306 yards, 3 touchdowns. Has some knee problems right now, but you tell me what you guys think. Juju, 6 receptions, 93 yards. Claypool, 8 for 69. Deontay Johnson, 6 for 77. Is this the NFL's best receiving corps?
They're in the top 5.
I
can't,
mean, you got
can't-
Kansas
yeah,
City
Kansas City, I still
with
call number 1.
Kelsey and the crew.
I still
New
Kansas
Orleans
City.
would be right
I still
there.
I
yeah.
call Kansas City number
No,
1,
these guys they're up there.
but they're right there.
They're up.
Now, the Steelers are 8-0, the first time ever in their school history, but there are a few things that are concerning to me. Their rushing game has come to a stop. 46 yards against Dallas, that everyone was running for yards against them. Only 50 yards or less against Baltimore. And yet they gave up 144 yards rushing to Dallas with a patched up offensive line. The last 2 weeks, they've given up a total of 409 yards rushing. Are you as concerned as I am about these 2 areas?
Much more than you.
Are you?
They're the least naked eye 8-0 team I've ever seen. Usually if you're 8-0, you're thinking, oh, is this team great?
Well, what's happened to this running game?
I think you can beat any week.
What happened to this running game?
Well, how about the last 2 weeks? They were throwing into their end zone to beat them.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't sound like
I don't see that at all.
No.
And,
That usually isn't
I'm worried
happening.
about it. I really am worried about it.
I am too. I see that when I thought Dallas would be lucky to run for 10 yards, let alone 144 yards. And Pollard was in there making these runs, and I'm saying, is this Frank Pollard? Who is this guy? Where'd he come from?
Yeah, he's been Zeke's backup, and he'll be starting on another team in the league next year when he
4
leaves.
starters off the offensive
Yeah,
line.
yeah, that's
they
what-
should not be able to run the ball like that.
You shouldn't
on
be able to do
the Steelers.
anything. No, that's what I'm saying. The Steelers are not, let's put it this way, they're just not an 8-0 team. I know the record says they are, but when I watch them, I'm thinking,
And the
somebody else can beat them.
first start for the quarterback, Garrett Gilbert, 243 yards passing. He looked like he'd been a starter for 10 years. Those are things that concern you. A good team should eat up a quarterback in his first start like
well,
that.
everybody's eating Dallas up. I mean, you understand, they look like a minor league team for the last 5 weeks, and then they played like that.
Now, here's a side note. You guys got to give me your take on this. Ben, in the win over Baltimore, said he drew up the plays in the huddle like Sandlot style. You go down by the tree or the tire, turn right, I'll get you the ball. Now, here's my take on it. That's an insult to Mike Tomlin, a slap in the face to offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner. Tomlin said this didn't happen. I'm surprised. Tomlin, I think, is keeping quiet for the good of the team. What is Ben's point in saying this?
He's always been outrageous in his statements.
Who does that? I've never, in all my years of following college or pro, ever heard a quarterback say he just drew up a play in the huddle.
No, I haven't either. He has to live for those moments. He does it all the time.
Wait till he starts flexing that knee on the way up to the line of scrimmage this week. You'll think he's a donkey.
If I'm Randy Fichtner, if I heard that, I have to say, you just threw me under the bus.
Yeah, it's not.
What's your
smart.
story?
What's your point
story?
in
Well,
doing
what's
that?
your point? Have you not gotten enough credit? You've made $220
There's
million.
no reason to do that.
And he puts Tomlin in the bind because he's a quarterback. What's Tomlin going to do? The only thing that Tomlin said is it didn't happen like that. So,
And I know it didn't happen like that.
in a way, he's saying Ben's a liar.
He might have said, Rothman should have said, we ran the play, but I might have whispered to Johnson, hey, if the corner comes on you, go deep. But not
so
breaking up a
Specifically,
play.
he said
He
it was
wasn't drawing in the dirt.
No,
when you were
no.
little.
He said, just like you would do in the playground, you tell him get down by the tree.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
He's too much.
Hey, this game was a shocker to me. I told Saints 38, Tampa 3. I said, boy, can't wait to watch this game. Brady with 3 interceptions. He's 43. He looked every bit of it. And Breeze, 41. He looked like he was 21 with 3 TD passes. After routing the Packers, in which Brady looked terrific, they have really regressed, narrowly escaping with a 25-23 win over the Giants. Now, I'm not going to overreact because it's halfway through the season. Teams are getting tired, banged up. The mental toughness comes into the aspect. How did you guys see this game?
Well, no one saw that coming. No one. New Orleans defensively played tremendously. That's what I was really impressed with. But New Orleans won 5 in a row, and people are overlooking them. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so I'll stay with that thought. But I'm saying this. The NFL is not for long. So then 3 weeks from now, we might be saying, hey, did you see New Orleans? They played lousy for the last 2 weeks. You can't predict it.
And you bring that bum in the middle of the year like that and just create distractions. I don't think you need.
That's a good point, George.
I'm going to quote our favorite coach, Bill Belichick, who says, nothing really happens in the NFL to those last 8 games.
Yes,
and
true.
That's what happens.
It's the truth.
How do you handle the injuries? How do you handle the stress, the mental
The
pressure?
COVID now.
This year's even more.
Now the
This
COVID.
year's even more because what's going on, yes. Roethlisberger just tested positive today.
Yeah,
How about
that's
that?
what we just heard. And then New England, half their defensive backfield was out against the Jets last night.
It's
All
crazy.
Pro Gilmore and McCourty.
Yeah, it is. It's
the
crazy what's
safety.
going on, yes.
Here's my NFL power rankings. The Steelers hanging on the top by a thread over Kansas City, who you like.
Yes.
Baltimore's 3rd, the Saints 4th, Green Bay 5th, and out is Tampa Bay. But the big game coming up, Tampa Bay's at Carolina this week.
Anytime you go on, you go on the road in your division,
Yeah.
it's a tougher game.
And I'm not counting out Tennessee, even though they lost 2 in a row. Guys, here's what's trending in the NFL, and I look what happened over the weekend. The young guns, Justin Herbert of the Chargers, 326 yards. Josh Allen of Buffalo, 415. Patrick Mahomes, KC, 372. Tua Tagovailoa of Miami, 248. Kyler Murray of Arizona threw for 283 and ran for 106. These days, these guys coming out of college in the pro sets, spread sets, they're ready to play.
And
No more sitting them on the bench.
You mentioned them, and I didn't know you were going to mention them. We don't go over before the show. All 5 of them can move. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing that's really changed.
I'm so
all of
impressed
them,
with
all of them
Herbert.
run, pass, move around the field. They're very athletic.
Yeah, a couple of them lost, though. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Couple
of them lost.
Kid at Arizona
Murray lost.
The kid at San Diego lost.
But they both scored a lot of points. So
Uh-huh.
it was the defensively.
And the other thing with those guys is, too, as you say, the ability to move. they're running college offenses in the pros.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
changed,
not
yeah.
that.
They're ready to go.
They're ready to go. And real quick on Seattle, because Buffalo torched them. They're on pace to give up 7,200 yards, the most in the history of the NFL by 1,000 yards.
Wow.
That's why they have Wilson throwing the ball so much. 'Cause
Yeah.
They know they have to outscore somebody. You can't play that way.
Hey, college football, this was a classic. Number 4 Notre Dame 47, number 1 Clemson 40 in double overtime. Everything you'd want to see in a football game, hard hitting, lead changes, big plays, offense and defense. And Clemson freshman quarterback DJ Uungale was just, for his second start, was fabulous. He threw for a Notre Dame opponent record 439 yards and 2 touchdowns. As I mentioned to George, the difference with Trevor Lawrence being in there would have been Lawrence's experience in certain situations. But this kid did everything you would ask of a quarterback. Ian Book of Notre Dame, 310 yards passing, 68 rush. Here's what I think the difference was, and you mentioned it last week, was Notre Dame's offensive line. Notre Dame rushed for 209. Clemson had their lowest ever under Dabo, 34 yards rushing. And Travis Etienne was held to 28 yards and 18 carries.
2 thoughts. Notre Dame's offensive line is the best in the country. That's number one. But the other 2 is Lawrence is a running quarterback, and that kid can't run. So what happens is when they handed the ball off to Etienne, they never went for the quarterback. When they play next time,
Yes.
and Lawrence
It'll be
plays,
pull it
he'll
out.
pull it out and run.
But was this good for college football?
That was great.
This win.
It was
Yeah,
great.
when's the last time Notre Dame won a national
It
title?
was great. They're right
88.
there now.
Yeah.
What was it? 88?
88. This is the 25th time they played the number 1 team. They've won 9 of them.
That's a lot.
That's pretty good.
So, no, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They're no, and I will say this: Clemson is not the number 1 team in the country. Their defense is
I
not.
think it's Ohio State.
Ohio State or
I think you
Alabama.
guys are right.
There's no question about it.
How about this now? The day before the game, Dabo was gracious in defeat. He was so good.
You know, I've
He was
seen him
really
on a Friday
good.
night at Syracuse.
Yeah.
The same way.
The day before the game, he was so excited about going to Notre Dame that he took a picture with the Newt Rockne statue.
How about that?
And that night showed the team the Rudy film.
That's interesting. But
So,
he does.
in other words, he has an appreciation of history.
He has appreciation for kids going all in.
Yeah.
And that was just a great game.
Yeah.
What do you say to your kids?
He's got
They-
some
they-
walk-ons.
they-
He's got Venables' kid out there
Oh
starting.
yeah, they missed 4 stars in the defense too. Yes.
Now, an interesting matchup for Notre Dame is at a trap game. They're at BC with former Notre Dame quarterback Phil Jurkovec, who is the ACC's total offensive leader.
It's definitely an upset game.
Yeah,
Oh, BC could
definitely.
beat them.
Absolutely, they
No
can.
question.
They get.
See, if
Yes.
there were fans, I'd be all over it.
Oh yeah, I would agree
You're
with
right.
you.
The fans make a
I would
difference,
agree.
George.
Hey, Pitt 41, Florida State 17. They stop a 4-game skid. Quarterback Kenny Pickett, 21 of 27, 210 yards. Pitt intercepted 3 passes. As I was saying before with George, what is it Florida State that can't get a quarterback? And they haven't had one for 5 years. They throw more to the other guys. And I think when you do that, you're not attracting the top receivers.
And Jimbo Fisher ruined the program. And he didn't get a quarterback in there, and that's what happened. Now this new guy, his first year, that'll be his number 1 job.
Try to get one,
Get a quarterback.
and it won't be easy.
Also, with Pickett, that's how much he means to Pitt. With him out of there, they had no chance. With him back, they have a chance.
Well, we've run out of time. There's so much more to talk about. There have been 45 college games now canceled because of COVID. So many teams hurting. Wisconsin, they may not play again for the 3rd straight week. You wonder what they're doing there, why they don't just cancel the season. But we have run out of time. We'll see you again next week.